Hello and welcome to part 1 of Sruffy's survival guide to Valheim. In this episode we are going to cover landing in the Meadows on your very first day, not really having any equipment or clue about what to do. So there's going to be a few things that we're going to get to grips with really quickly. Firstly, I will tell you what the main resources that you're going to gather in this area are, and they are wood, and stone. Go and grab wood and stone. Get about, I don't know, 6 or 7 of each until you have enough to craft yourself a stone axe. 5 bits of wood, 4 bits of stone. Go do that. That's the first thing. Once you have gathered your 5 wood and 4 stone and built yourself a stone axe, things get a lot easier because you can then tackle trees, which is a much more easy way of getting wood en masse. You just run over, chop down a tree, hit it about 5 or 6 times, it will fall down. Then don't get hit by it because it will kill you. Smash it in half. Smash it in half again and you have 2 big piles of wood. Easy job. Much quicker than running around and picking it up off the ground, I think you'll agree. The other reason a stone axe is good is because you can use it as a weapon. So when you make a lot of noise and attract Graylings, like this one over here, you can deal with them fairly easily by hitting them with your hammer. However, you will find that there are trees that you cannot do anything with, because you don't have a good enough axe. So more about that later in the future. For now, collect enough stone and wood so that you can build yourself a hammer. That is a hammer, 2 stone, 3 wood. In the Meadows there are a couple of different creatures to look out for. This one, this little guy here, is a Grayling. He's the kind of first version of this creature. There is a larger version later on, but this is the one that lives in the Meadows. They do not do too much damage if you let them punch you. Let's just try and do that. I mean, 3.2, you can take a few hits. And if you've got any kind of weapon, I'm using a stone axe here, you can just smack them to death. Job done. Before you've got any tools at all, the only food that you can actually find in the Meadows is basically lying around on the floor or on a bush. Number 1, we have mushrooms. So we've got this little fella down here. We can pick him up there, and if you look over there, where was it? Somewhere over there in the distance I could see 3 more. There, see? Up there. From a certain angle. Now, that's a good lesson to learn, because when you're looking for mushrooms, if you're just running around, chances are you will not spot them. You actually have to kind of walk around and have a good look and a good rummage, otherwise you'll struggle. The other type of food grows on bushes, and we'll find some of those and show you right now. There we go. That was easy. Straight ahead. Raspberries. Oh, and we seem to have attracted another Grayling, so we'll just get rid of him. And then I'm going to quickly talk to you about food, because down here at the side of the map you've got 3 little places for food, and by that there's a health bar. So if we just open up here, I can put my raspberry in slot number 1, and that raspberry does this. Gives me 10 health and gives me 20 stamina with a tick of 1. Then I can shove a mushroom in the second slot, and that mushroom gives me 15 health and 20 stamina with a tick of 1. So I've got a tick of 2 now, so things will gradually increase. And you can see that this health bar down here has gone up from 30 to something like 60 probably, and that will gradually fill in over time. And I'll also now have a slightly bigger stamina bar, like 4.5 bits instead of 3 or 4. And if we could get a third type of food, like some pig meat, boar meat, then we can put that in the third box, or neck tail, that's the other thing that you can also get. which I will show you in a second. But you do have to cook those. Boars are pretty aggressive. Deer will always run away. You can't really deal anything with a deer until you've got a bow, but a boar will come straight at you and allow you to just hit it in the head with a hammer. So that's my choice. And here's your reward, is raw meat, which you can then cook over a fire once you've built a campfire and some equipment to cook it on. While we're here, I might as well just quickly show you a deer, because there they are. As soon as that thing sees me, it's going to turn and run. There's nothing you can do about that unless you've got a bow and arrow. Here we have a couple of examples of necks, which are the other food source. Hit them in the head, hopefully they will turn into a tail. There you go, neck tail. So I can now show you what they look like. We've got neck tails, we've got meat. We can cook these over a campfire. I'll show you that in a sec. Okay, so it's towards the end of the first day in Valheim. I've made myself a hammer, I have made myself an axe. My axe is now nearly broken, and I'm getting worried about what's going to happen at night time. So let's just quickly run through what the deal is. You get your hammer out, and the first thing you have to build is a crafting bench. Just so, basically find a bit of flat space. Okay? Just stick down a crafting bench wherever it is flat enough. That will do. Now that crafting bench won't actually work to allow you to repair any of your stuff until it's got a roof over it. Okay, crafting bench needs a roof. So get your hammer back out, whoops days, and build a couple of walls with your wood. Not too many, 2 will do. Grab yourself a roof. 26 degrees will do. Right, that will now function as a repair facility. Just got a little hammer button over here. So I can repair my axe, repair my tunic, everything is cool. We are still out in the middle of nowhere though, so we don't want to be there. We want to have a fire, we want to be able to cook things. And we want to have a place where we can sleep. So essentially, we need more wood. So I'm going to quickly run off and cut down a few trees. And then I'm going to come back and very quickly build a sort of a primitive hut. Remembering to eat as many different food types as possible to keep my health high. One other benefit of fighting Graylings is that they often drop resin, which is a couple of useful things about resin. It is one of the ingredients to make a shield. It's also one of the ingredients to make most light sources, so it's good to have a stack of resin. Let me introduce you all to our first starter home in the world of Valheim. This is a little 2x5 shack. It's got a 45-degree roof, and I've left the ends open like this to allow the smoke, in theory, to pass through, although I think, due to a prevailing wind problem, I've actually got it wrong, and it's not quite working as it should. But let's not worry too much about that right now. Let's just show you what's in here. We've got a torch so we can see what's going on in the dark. We've got a crafting bench so we can fix all of our stuff and build all of this new good stuff. I'll come back to that in a second. There is a bed which I have claimed so that when I die I will now come back to life here. So that's generally a good thing to do. You should always try and do that. Over in the corner we've got a little chest which I've started to put things in, and this is a cook fire with a cooking sort of thing over the top, so you get your uncooked meat like your neck meat and your other boar meat, and you just stick them on there. Take a step back so you don't die of smoke inhalation. There's actually a kind of a hissing noise that lets you know when they're done, and if you leave them on there for too long after they've been done they turn into lumps of coal, so I would advise not doing that. There you go, and there you go. So I've got some new food. So that's kind of the house, and that's everything you really need to get going. Let's just quickly go back to this bench because there's a few things that you're going to need to basically collect a load of stuff to be able to build, and there's a few kind of good ideas to do in a certain order. First things first, get yourself a wooden shield, because this allows you to stand holding the right mouse button to block and just allow pigs to bash into the shield, and then you can hit them on the head so you don't have to take damage while you're dealing with pigs. It's just a really easy, nice thing to have. Second on the important list is a crude bow, which is quite a lot of leather and not very much wood. And the reason I'm saying doing it in this order first is because once you've got the shield, it's a lot easier to get the leather. And then once you've got the bow, you go and cut a few more trees down and just make some normal arrows, and that's when you start hunting deer, because deer leather is how you get leather armour, and that's kind of how you progress. So I'll just show you some of that now. Along with wood and stone, there is another important resource that you're going to need early on in this game, and that is flint, which you will always find at the coast, in the sea or near the sea. And you just pick it up with the E key and just walk over it. There you go. And with that, we now have crafting recipes and we can do all sorts of clever things. So first things first, having got your shield, you can then tackle pigs like this, which is just so much easier. You just stand there like that, right mouse click, easy, didn't take any damage, which is much less risk than before. There was another one, wasn't there? I'm sure there was a second pig. Yeah, I was right. Pig, piggy, pig, pig. Hey. Oh, and it works for these guys too. Okay, and if you time it right, when they strike, you parry. Missed. Got that wrong again. And then they kind of go... Whoa. There you go, like that. And then you can hit them really a bit harder while they're doing that. It becomes easier to kill them. So that's just a bit of Combat 101. Let's just go and do it with the pig. You just take the hit on the shield, let it run away, let it run back. It's also helpful to allow yourself to build up shield skill, because your skills will improve as you use them. My blocking skill is now 3. And that's how you get a load of leather, which allows you to then build yourself a bow and go and hunt some deer. So let's show you that next. Okay, a couple of things about deer. Firstly, they will smell you, and you have to take note of the sort of direction of the wind, which is in the top right hand corner of the screen. And if they spot you or smell you, they will run away. So try and get them so that you can't smell you. And then the second thing is to aim a little bit high, because there's quite a big drop off on bow fire. Like that. That was the first bow shot I'd ever taken. As a result, it was pathetic, because I'm used to playing it with my end game bow. So anyway, let's just stand still for a minute and wait for this guy to run around for a second, and then we'll have another try. The other thing you can do also is press control, and you go into sort of stealth mode, and you can crouch and you can sort of maneuver around silently, and you can see that it turns into a kind of an eye with a half open thing when something can see you. But that does cost you stamina, which means you'll eventually run out and then you won't be able to shoot, which will be a problem for you. Nope. I don't want them to run away. Right, let's try again. Bullseye! And that's how you deal with deer. And you get loads of meat from deer, and you also get deer hide, which you can make leather from. So I'm now going to collect a load of deer by wandering around and hunting in the woods. Oops. Ah, never shoot at a running deer. You won't ever hit it at the beginning. You'll be too bad. You'll have to get a bit of practice in before you get good at that. But essentially, collect a load of that and then head home, and you can build yourself some leather outfits. And I'll just show you that now. Once you've collected yourself a bunch of deer hide, like this. You bring it over to your workbench and then you immediately discover one of the very important game mechanics, which is that you can't do certain things until you've upgraded your workbench by attaching another kind of extra bit to it. So upgrading the workbench works like this. This is a workbench, it is a workbench level 1. This is a chopping block and this is a tanning rack. Either of those will improve my workbench, and to do that you basically just put them down any old where they're not in the way, and that should now give us a level 2 thing. Let me try using that. It is now level 2, and because we still have a load of leather, we can now make ourselves leather armour, leather pants and a leather helmet. So set to work doing that while I just deal with the smoke inhalation problem. And then you're basically done. And once you've got all your flint weapons together, you should pretty much be ready to kind of expand this basic hut and then go and tackle the first boss, which I'm not going to show you in this video. I'm going to show you that in the next video. So until then, just build up a bunch of stuff, increase the size of your base because you are going to need a lot more space than you currently have, and make sure you get rid of this pesky smoke inhalation problem which has plagued me throughout the first bit of this series. Till next time, take care and happy surviving. Bye bye.